Part 4: Educational Staff Retention. Teaching profession and the job market. The most significant resource in educational institution is students. Investigating the best methods for managing human resources in higher education has emerged as a problem for improving university quality and competitiveness in order to draw and keep students. The best education and learning opportunities for students became a priority, and methods of managing their human resources were changed to be more effective and empower employees. Due to the increasing number of teachers who have changed jobs and shifted into different businesses, the labor market has been altering. One of the biggest causes of people leaving the teaching profession is teacher stress. Despite the fact that teaching has always been stressful, the difficulties many educators faced as a result of COVID-19 have made things worse. A staggering 60% of instructors reported feeling stressed. Due to stress, many instructors are either considering quitting for the first time or have already quit. According to the 2021 Teacher Wellbeing Index, 63% of senior leaders and 53% of school teachers among all staff members had thought about quitting the education field in the past 2 years. The staff's desire to quit their positions was primarily caused by the workload, the relationship between staff and the senior leadership team is the one that has the worst effects on staff well-being. The best strategy for enhancing employees' mental health is managers engaging with their workers to lessen workload. In one US research, 85% of teachers said that their ability to teach was being hampered by a work-life imbalance. According to another study, at least 30% of the instructors resigned from their jobs within the first 5 years of their careers. These studies discovered that weak leadership, a hostile environment, increased workloads, particularly with regard to testing, the need to deal with challenging student behaviors, a lack of autonomy and decision-making power, and little to no social and emotional learning. Training to support educators and students' emotional needs are all common causes of teacher stress and burnout. Due to the lack of substitute teachers, teachers are already under pressure and are losing what little preparation time they do have. Teachers lack the resources to help students' new behavioral difficulties once they return to school. Due to these behavioral difficulties turning violent, worries about personal safety have increased. The professional autonomy of teachers is likewise lacking. For instance, walkthroughs and random assessments of teachers are commonplace in many schools. Being under constant evaluation can be stressful, especially in situations where anything is as simple as sitting down could result in poor evaluation. 4.2. Why does teaching not retain its professionals? The University of Bucharest's Faculty of Education Sciences conducted a study that provides conclusive proof of the factors that contribute to early career abandonment in teaching, as well as infrequent instances of teachers acting aggressively towards students. The stress elements that determine the breakdown of institutional connections between the players involved in the educational context are revealed by the interviews with school principals and managers. They include lack of sufficient professional training by specialization, both psychologically and academically, due to the common prevalence of the illusion of competence. The relative significance of a well-documented training program through a portfolio, articles, experiments, etc., as well as the annual interview review inside the school institution of the actual outcomes attained by the teaching staff in their capacity as educators and trainers. Connections among co-workers, individualism as jealousy, lack of cooperation as insufficient personal participation, and cooperation as integration into an active work group having a common didactic goal, limitations placed on the choice of teaching materials as well as the newest digital tools to be employed in the class of pupils, training requirements for teaching staff often imposed and unnecessary, institutional constraints, current bureaucracy, and professional ethics standards both inside and outside of institutions, relationships between teachers and parents derived from work tasks, quantitative and qualitative, and the school evaluation process, then relationship between parents and children derived from work tasks, but also from the use of the computer, mobile phone, tablet, etc. Relationships between teachers and students derived from work tasks. Grade inspections and evaluations for promotions have a significant emotional impact. They put deserving students and masters with annual averages above 9 to stressful evaluations rather than promoting them to the department as professionals. Also, assessment at the national level for holding a fixed position in education instead of promoting the autonomy and quality that the school institution offers through the direct selection of competent staff. Ignorance of the legislation related to the teaching profession, lack of communication and collaboration between university staff and pre-university practitioners, and the discrepancy between demonstrated knowledge and the school curriculum that must be assigned to the class of students. 4.3 Teacher shortages at the beginning of the school year 2022. Even in nations with competitive pay scales, there is a lack of instructors as the academic year begins across the continent. The teaching profession is no longer a popular one in France this year. The shortage of teachers is a concern practically everywhere in Europe and beyond. When compared to the alarming conditions in the neighboring countries, the 4,000 open teaching posts in French schools appear like a lesser issue. In Germany, where the holiday season is already gone, the most populated state of North Rhine-Westphalia had 4,400 openings when classes began on August 10. On August 14, Schleswig-Holstein noted 200 openings in its classes at the start of the school year. On August 20, there were 875 open vacancies in Berlin. Contract teachers now fill 150,000 teaching positions in Italy, a nation where the teaching population has aged significantly. The Swedish education agency Skolverket forecasts that 153,000 new teachers will be needed by 2035 to make up for retirements and career changes of those who are no longer interested in the field. 4.4 Salaries of teachers in the EU. Policies aimed at luring the best candidates and guaranteeing their retention in the profession heavily rely on teachers' pay and career possibilities. The makeup and wage disparities of teachers and school administrations in 39 countries are compared to the Eurydice report. When we look more closely at the report's primary findings, we see that there are notable discrepancies between European nations in the starting pay of teachers. In reality, they might range from roughly 4,000 euros to 92,000 euros annually, depending on the nation. The gross domestic product, GDP per capita of a nation, is closely related to the average effective compensation of teachers. The higher the GPT per capita, the higher the average annual salary. Wages outpace GDP per capita in around two-thirds of the school systems examined in the paper. In 7 nations, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Ireland, Hungary, Romania, Sweden, and Norway, it is less than the GDP per capita. At 7,700 euros annually, Bulgaria has the lowest beginning teacher wage among EU nations, claims Euronews. In numerous other EU nations, including Latvia, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Poland, the amount is likewise less than 10,000 euros. The relationship between teacher pay and the minimum wage demonstrates how much teachers make relative to the minimum salary in each nation. By dividing the gross teacher compensation by the gross minimum wage, the ratio is determined. Poland has the lowest ratio with 1.1, while Germany has the highest ratio with 2.8. In other words, while beginning teachers in Germany's state schools earn approximately three times the minimum pay, beginning teachers in Poland earn salaries that are extremely similar to the minimum wage. While it is only 1.4 in France and Greece, the ratio is 1.86 on average among the 21 EU countries. In the majority of European nations, teachers who begin their careers in public schools make an average salary that is much less than the GDP per capita. Are educators content with their pay? The quick response is no. OECD countries and economies that participated in the Teaching and Learning International Survey TALIS in 2018 found that on average only 26% of teachers believed their work was appreciated by society and only 39% were satisfied with their compensation. It becomes clear why many teachers desire to leave the profession when we weigh the stress of the workload against the pay. In conclusion, the issue of educational staff retention, specifically regarding teachers in the European Union, is a complex and multifaceted problem. Despite the importance of the teaching profession and the critical role that teachers play in shaping the future of our societies, many teachers are leaving the profession or facing difficulties in finding stable employment. Various factors contribute to this problem, including low salaries, poor working conditions, and a lack of professional development opportunities. These challenges are further compounded by the teacher shortages that are predicted to occur at the beginning of the school year in 2022. To address these challenges, it is essential for policymakers, education leaders, and the wider community to come together and prioritize the needs of teachers. This includes investing in competitive salaries and benefits packages that reflect the value of the teaching profession, improving working conditions and job security, and providing ample opportunities for professional development and career advancement. By taking these steps, we can work together, creating a teaching profession that attracts and retains the best and brightest professionals, ensuring that our schools are staffed by highly qualified and motivated educators who can inspire and guide the next generation of learners.